Alright, I'm going to finish up what I started on this metal detecting finds from the last year that I've took it more serious. Prior to that I was using like a Garrett Model 250 my wife bought me. Did find daylights out of coins, but I was wanting to find something maybe on old house sites, and so I bought me a AT Max. This right here is a it's a letter opener labeled Clarence O'Brien. He's a patent attorney for the U.S. Patents Office out of Washington, D.C. And this was a advertisement piece. The only thing I can get on it goes back to the 1930s. But it's got, of course, you see his name and his title. And on this side, it's got all kinds of writing too, and it tells the procedure in getting a patent for any number of products, and it tells the steps to take and the costs. I think there's $15 somewhere on here, 2 different times in the process before something is completely patented. But anyway, that was just a commemorative, or not a commemorative, but an advertisement emblem. You could tell it was rolled up, and when I found it in the ground, I was hunting in a cornfield. It gets disc, and this thing was just rolled nearly double, and I didn't know what it was until I got it home, got it straightened out, and seen all that on it. And that's a cool item, though. 1930s is the best we can do on a date. This right here come from the same place. All these 2 cases came from the same site. Outside of them 2 pieces right there, I brought them down because I'll let you see them. This old sketching plate, I guess. It's made out of some heavy steel or brass, and you can tell it was bent. It was bent and twisted too, and so I took a hammer and a piece of wood and straightened it out the best I could. That's where the old doorknob would have went. An old skeleton key. So there's some fancy on this old place. And of course, that's probably not 1800s. Could be, but I'm not sure about it. But I believe there was more than one house. You can tell this was all rolled up too. I've had to straighten all the brass and whatnot like that. These have got fancy on them, all of them do. I don't know what they are. You can tell everywhere you see it dark and change color, that's where it was bent and twisted, and when you straighten them out, you know the patina is different. I found this clay marble on that site. I was digging up a target, and that actually was dug up, you know. I don't remember what it was I was digging up now, but this is a neat button. Like I said, I believe there was more than one house on this particular site. One older and one not as old. This is a neat suspender clip type deal. I believe that's old. It's got the teeth. A little part missing right there. Yeah, you gotta dig everything. I can't remember now, but that came up mid-tone, you know, like a bottle cap would or pull tab. So yeah, you gotta dig it all. This particular site's had a lot of more modern day trash on it because it had some later occupation, plumb up to the 70s, I think. It had gold gilt on it, whatever it is. I don't know how old none of this stuff is. This is a neat general service button. It's in really good shape. I think it's like a World War I, World War II. That one had that little piece of metal right there and was running through the eye of this whenever I found it. Of course, when I cleaned the dirt off of it, that came out of it, but it was It was attached to their garment with that little piece of wire. Some of these buttons are really neat. That's just flat, but they're in good shape. It's got a nice back mark on it. I can't read it to you, but I must think that there is just real old. I thought I'd show it to you anyway. I thought that was a little bead, but I'm not quite sure it is. It's a fancy little buckle. It still moves on it. And here's another piece of fancy. I say it was a pin, a brooch. That would be my guess on that. Bird's noisy. He's feeling his oats this morning, this evening. Here's another staff, or what was I called that? General service button. It came off the same side, and it may be the coat button, and that other one may be the cuff button. I mean, they didn't come too far apart. That nerve's in really fine shape, though. Yeah, that bird's getting on my nervous system. Yeah, it's in real good shape right there. I'll show you this. I don't know what it was. It may have went around like a oil lamp. Of course, you can tell where it's discolored. It's where I've had to straighten it out. It was all twisted and bent and mangled. But I believe this was probably round at one time, and I bet it was. It puts me in the mind of something that would be involved with the old oil lamps. And I may be altogether wrong. It's pretty. Brass. Okay, I was going to show you a few more of these and we'll call her done. This is one I wanted you to see. Me and my wife, we tried to determine what it was, and my son as well, and the best we could come up with, me and my son, we thought it was a pineapple. And just really wasn't real sure. But anyway, I looked online and tried to find pineapple buttons or any kind of state buttons that might have that on it. And I couldn't find anything, and I don't know how I even looked now, but I did finally find something that told about the history of the pineapple and how that it was a crazed fruit whenever it was first brought to Europe, and that the colonial people were really crazy about it. Anyway, long story short, it became the fruit of hospitality. That in the northeastern states, they had, and still do, have pineapples in places which they put there as a symbol of hospitality. And so when I found this, I thought, well, and the article talked about how expensive that the pineapples were, that oftentimes many of the colonial people couldn't afford to have a pineapple, and they were only served at special events and special times with special people because of their price and rarity. They were actually hard to get in the States, or even in Europe, from where they come from. I forget now exactly where they came from, but they go way back, and that was a symbol of hospitality. And I thought, well, it probably dates back, 1800s anyway, maybe earlier than that, but they probably still, colonial people, even on this site here, probably still had a liking for the pineapple. And that's the best I could come up with. It looks more like a pineapple than anything else. So that's what I'm calling it. Alright, and this is last but not least, I'm going to show you this. It come off an entirely different site, but probably one of the coolest things I've ever dug up. It's an old beer tap, or I don't know if it's beer or wine or whatever it was, but whoever these people were, they had apparently had a little money. In fact, I found probably 8 or 10 wheat pennies on this side, and a V-nickel, and a couple of Indian head pennies. But this right here is the coolest thing I found, and that was about probably 15 inches deep, and I dug and dug and just about gave up on it. It's real high tone, and I kept digging and digging and couldn't never find it, and just about to give up and bury the hole. And I thought, I'll make one more lunge, and you can see where I got it. Of course, it didn't hurt it, but anyway, this rolled up and it's as green as a gourd. And best I can find on that, it goes back to the 1800s. But this, of course, is seized up. I might could get it to turn if I wanted to, but what's the point? I'm not going to use it. They had enough money on that in that time to buy them some lager of some sort, and that's really neat. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. This is kind of running long, but yeah, this site here, I can't no longer hunt it. They gave me permission, and then they took it away from me. They wanted to save after I visited it a few times, they decided they wanted to save the treasure for their family members. Can't blame them for that. But anyway, yeah, this is what I found off of this one site, and I'm hoping to get back in there before too long. Found one penny. Well, I'll find some modern pennies. This is the oldest. It's a 1903 Indian head cent. It's the only one I found. Alright, appreciate you watching.